Hello and welcome to a brand new video, and in this one we're going to talk about the Hobbyzone AeroScout. So let's say you got your Hobbyzone AeroScout, you went to your hobby shop or you ordered it from horizonhobby.com and you got it out of the box, and now you're looking at it going, wow, I got a whole bunch of pieces here, and this is your first this is your first RC plane. This is what you're going to get started in. This is a trainer plane and you're going to get started, and you have all these pieces sitting out of here from the box, and you're wondering, how do I go about turning this into an airplane that I'm going to fly with? Well, that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about how we build the AeroScout, and then there'll be a follow-up video to this that's how to properly set your AeroScout up for its very first flight and get you on the right path to learning how to fly with this really amazing aircraft. So, to start with, we have the manual here. I always suggest reviewing the manual first before you get started. And what's really cool about this instruction manual is it has some QR codes right in here that will take you directly to the assembly video. So you can actually, bypass my video, go straight to the QR codes and get the assembly process right from here. But don't worry, the assembly process is pretty simple and there's not much to this. This is one of the easiest planes I've ever seen, besides like a UMS plane that comes all together in a box. This is one of the simplest airplanes that I've ever seen go together. So let's go ahead and get started. You only really need like one tool, and that's a 2mm Allen wrench here. You can use a screwdriver style like I have, or just a regular old Allen wrench. And the very first thing that the instructions have you do is install the landing gear. And I think this is kind of a cool idea on how they have the landing gear go together. They actually just slide into place and then they lock in when they are in their home. So there you go. No fasteners required. There you go. Look at that. The main landing gear already done. No tools required for that. This is probably the only spot you're really going to need a tool, and that's for the nose gear here. And if you notice, when you look at the nose gear, if you hold it up in the air, it's going to have this notch where the strut has been machined out, right? So that notch, or that flat, needs to go where the set screw is on the landing gear nose strut here, or the little aluminum piece here. So you want to back the screw out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And we're going to drop the landing gear, the nose gear in to the kind of receiver here, and the notch needs to face the screw. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So I need to pull it out a little bit further here. There we go. It will drop in, and then you simply just tighten the Allen wrench or the Allen screw here until it's nice and tight. There we go. Make sure that is good. Yep. All right. So that's easy. So now we can flip the aircraft back over, and now it's sitting up on its wheels. And we call this a tricycle landing gear format. Tricycle landing gear meaning we have two main gear and one in the front. If this was a tail dragger like the Carbon Cub, it would sit more like this, where the wheel's in the back and the nose sits up in the front. Both types of aircraft are definitely going to be very different in terms of their ground handling. If you're a beginner pilot and you have no flight experience whatsoever, and especially true if you're learning on your own without the help of an instructor, a tricycle landing gear setup is vastly easier to operate on the ground than a tail dragger. So that's another reason why this AeroScout makes an absolutely fantastic first airplane. This is a great trainer. So the next piece that we are going to assemble is the horizontal stabilizer. Let's grab that out here. So this is actually a unique setup in which it's really, normally we have these come out the back of the aircraft like this, and they're hinged right here, and only the back part moves, and that's what we call an elevator. And the rest of this would be called a horizontal stabilizer. In this particular case, it's actually one piece. So this entire area will move together. So they're one piece. When how they move, they're not hinged. And to do this, we will need this carbon fiber spar. It's square, and this will actually slide into here. So we slide this into the tail section here. Okay, make sure I don't poke myself here. There we go. So we'll just slide that in, and then we take the part with the stickers on it, go on top. All right. So they are symmetrical, but you need to make sure that you get the sticker on the top. Okay, put that in. Once again, sticker goes on the top, and then we slide that together. and that is all that's needed. Now, if you notice, what happened when I put the, we call it the tail feathers on, right? Boom, the airplane kind of lifted off its nose here and set on the back. So as you can see, we shifted the center of gravity of the aircraft to the rear. So that's very important when it comes to flying. Now, when we put the battery in here, it will actually balance the airplane back out. But there's an exact sweet spot on the aircraft that the center of gravity needs to be set at in order to have the best flying experience. We're going to get into more of that in the next video, but just to let you know, as we put the tail on, you can see that it dropped down. And the reason why it dropped down is this added weight to the rear of the aircraft, which shifted it to the rear. All right, so we'll go to the next part of the instructions here. This is actually the installation of the wings. I did have the propeller off. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. So just give me a second here. All right, I had removed the prop from the aircraft, so I went to go ahead and reinstall that. Now, remember, if you do have to replace this propeller, it is it's a pusher prop, right? So it's going to be backwards from what a normal propeller will be, and also the fastener on here actually screws backwards. So instead of being righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, it actually is backwards. That way it doesn't try to loosen itself up as it spins. So just a little tip there. That's only if you need to replace the prop. I had mine off already, so I want to go ahead and reset that back to its original location. All right, so now comes the wings. There are two halves here. And the servos are already installed, and they have this little wire sticking out the bottom. And then you also have this carbon fiber spar that will go ahead and slide into the wing. And what this does is this is going to add rigidity to the wing structure. It's going to provide a nice load path for the lift to pass through the wings and into the fuselage. And now we need to go ahead and actually install the wiring on this. And there's a Y cable that's already installed. And all you need to do is plug these wires in. Now, for this, you want to have the brown wire going to the black wire, and the orange wire goes to the white, just to kind of give you an idea of the orientation of that wiring. It really kind of only goes one way because the plugs are keyed, but just as a double check, I always try to make sure that I have the dark colors going to each other. That just kind of prevents having them accidentally backwards. We'll do a check before we go out in the air to make sure that everything is good. But I like to try to get all that stuff down on the ground as soon as I can. So let me go ahead and remove these screws here so we can go ahead and put the wing together. And what's nice about these screws is they're thumb screws, so you don't really have to take any tools to the flying field with you. You can go ahead and actually just apply these by using your thumbs, and you can also transport the aircraft with the wings removed if you need to. So if you have a smaller car like I do, and it fits better in the car to have your wings removed, you go ahead and just take them off with thumb screws. So if you remember before, I said brown goes to black and orange goes to white, and that will plug right in just fine. You'll hear it click when it goes in. That's what you're looking for there. And now I want to slide the two halves of the wing together here. Okay, there we go. That slides together. And then I just want to make sure that I get this well situated down here. I'm going to put it towards the nose and move the wiring down. Okay, and I'm going to grab these thumb screws here and go ahead and get these put in. Okay, let's get some started here. Okay, let's go ahead and get these lined up a little bit better. Okay, you want to double check to make sure that the wiring is not hung up on the bottom of the wing. That's what's happening on mine. So I just go ahead and made that change there. Make sure that the wiring is not hung up, and then let's get the thumb screws to drop down in here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and tighten these up here. Helps if you turn the aircraft a little bit so you can see it better. I couldn't see. I had the wires kind of hung up underneath the wing, and that was preventing it from seating properly. So helps if you take a look at it from the side here, and then from the nose, and you can see I had the wires stuck up, and it was preventing those to drop down. They'll drop down very nice and snug, and just take a few turns, give them a nice snug. There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is the AeroScout. As you can see, very simple construction to put this thing together, right? One tool only. I have my screwdriver out. I don't know why. I most certainly didn't need it. There's assembly instructions that are very easy to follow inside the manual. There's assembly videos to the QR codes. Plus you have this video here. You should have everything you need to put this aircraft together in really a matter of minutes. You could most certainly buy this from the hobby shop, order it from horizonhobby.com, get the box, go right to the flying field and put it together. As long as you've got a charged battery, you could be up in the air in just a matter of minutes. So now that we have the aircraft assembled, I did want to touch on a few of the design elements. So this aircraft is not patterned after any type of a real airplane. It's really made to be a purpose-built trainer. And one of those key features is the rear-mounted propeller back here helps prevent having any prop strikes. So if you have a rough landing and the propeller is sitting up on the front, there's a good chance you could break that prop and now you can't go fly anymore. By putting the propeller back here, it protects the propeller from damage and you're going to be less likely to have to replace one of these propellers. The battery hatch is inside here, and we're going to be flying this one on a 2200 3S pack, and that sits just nicely up in here. And once we get that properly situated and our center of gravity checked, we know exactly where it needs to be. You also have access to the servos inside the battery hatch here, and this is a nice magnetic catch on there as well. You can see it's got very large wings on it, large ailerons, great visibility with these kind of that bright orange, and it's got the black on the bottom as well as some gray. So the airplane will show up well in the air, which is great for beginners because you don't want an airplane that blends in. You don't want to start flying with, let's say, like an F-16 that's painted like in 3 shades of gray and go fly that on a cloudy day. I can tell you from experience, the airplane will be very difficult to see and orientate. Not so much with the AeroScout. The white with the bright colors on here really help give you some good definition in the air so that you can help to orientate the aircraft. If you do happen to damage your AeroScout, if heaven forbid that happens, this is all repairable with something called foam tack. You can use hot glue. You could use Gorilla clear tape. I've used packaging tape. There's a number of ways that you can fix this aircraft just in case you do have an incident with it that needs repair. But it's designed from the ground up to be an outstanding trainer aircraft. It's got SAFE installed on it. It's got AS3X installed on it. The tricycle landing gear with those great big tires on it. The high mounted prop. This is going to be a fantastic trainer. This is great if you have no flight experience at all. This is probably the trainer to get. So next up, we're going to show you how to set the airplane up now that you have it assembled, and that really only takes a few minutes for an aircraft like this. So stick around and catch the next video.